In Unit 1, we're going to take some time to look at statistics. So we're going to start out by looking at pulse rates in class. And since I don't have all that data, I'm going to use different numbers and show you how to do some of the same stuff. Okay, so again, in class we'll use pulse rates and collect data and use that data to describe our data with these words. But instead of that, I'll give you the definitions, and I have some other numbers that we can use and still see what these things mean. Okay, so some of these words you should know already. Hopefully you know that when you see mode, it happens, it's the most common. Sometimes there can be no mode. Sometimes there's more than one mode. So for example, if I had the numbers 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, the mode would be 3 and 4. So it'd be bimodal, two modes. If I had the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, there would be no mode. So mode means what happens the most often, the most common. Mean is another word for average. Minimum is what you think. It's the smallest term or data point. Median means middle. If you're learning about driving, the median is the middle of the road. And maximum, of course, then means the largest. All right, you'll see Q1, quartile 1, which is the middle of the first half of data. And then you'll see Q3, which is the middle of your second half of data. And these last 5 things are called the 5-number summary. Okay, so we'll be finding in this unit the 5-number summary quite often. And so when I ask you for that information, I'm looking for the minimum, the median, the max, Q1 and Q3. So we're going to take a look at finding 5-number summaries with multiple examples. We'll do it with our heart rate in class, but since I don't have pulse rates, I'm just going to use numbers and to use that to illustrate the same thing. So let's just start easy then. What if I had the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5? Let's find the 5-number summary. Okay, so min and max, those are pretty easy here. So here's the min. Here's the max. Okay, so there's 2 of the 5 numbers we need. To find the middle number, you can cross off until you get to the middle. I'm going to erase these cross. So we know 3 is the middle. Okay, so this is called the median, otherwise known as Q2. And to find Q1 and Q3, we're looking at the middle of the first half of data. So you look at everything below the median, and we're going to find the middle. What's the middle of 1 and 2? Well, it's 1.5. So this is Q1. Do the same thing for Q3. Look at everything above the median and find the middle. The middle of 4 and 5 is 4.5, so that's Q3. Okay, so we're going to practice finding this quite a bit then in this unit, the 5-number summary. Minimum, maximum, median, Q1, Q3. All right, this will be an easy box plot to draw, but let's draw a box plot for this information right here. Okay, so I'm just going to start. We need at least 1 through 5 on here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. To draw a box plot, your mins and maxes are dots. So at 1 there's a dot, and at 5 there's a dot. For Q1, for Q1, the median, and Q3, you're going to draw those as lines. All right, so at 1.5 I'll draw a line. At 3, I'll draw a line, and at 4.5, I'll draw a line. And we connect those. There's the box. The whiskers then connect the box to the min and the max. So there's an easy box and whiskers plot, which again will look a lot different in class when we look at pulse data. So again, your min and your max are dots. You draw Q1, Q2, Q3 as lines, and make a box. Connect your box to your whiskers. All right, let's try practicing this and then looking at some vocab. So Just 3 different easy sets of numbers here. Can you find the 5-number summary and make a box plot for each data set below? Okay, so min and max, pretty easy, so I'm going to write them over here. Min is, actually, you know what? I'll write them out differently. I'm going to just, okay, we know min and max, 1 and 7. Let's find the median. So we cross off numbers, find the middle. Here it's 4, so let's put down the 4 as the median. To find Q1, we look below the median, all the numbers below, and find the middle. So here is Q2, and let's find Q3. Look above the median, and the middle would be 6. And then you have your min and max. I'll write those here. So when you see the numbers like this, you can write this in your assignment. I'm going to assume the first number is the min. I'm going to assume the second number is Q2. I'm going to assume the median is your middle number. I'm going to assume that this number is Q3 and the last number will be your max. So this is called your 5-number summary. Let's graph it. When you graph a 5-number summary, you have to start at least at the minimum. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so to do this, you draw dots for your min and max. Q1, Q2, and Q3 are lines. So at 2, draw a line, 4, draw a line, and at 6, draw a line. Again, this data is spread out evenly. So there's your box and whisker. Okay, what if we only have 6 numbers here? So we know min and max. Let's find the median. So if we cross off until we get to the middle, what is the middle of 3 and 4? Well, we know it's 3.5, but if you didn't know that, you could find the average. 3 plus 4 is 7. 7 divided by 2. So find the average of the two numbers, and that's 3.5. Now in this case, the median is not in your data set. So when you're looking for Q1 and Q3, look at everything below the median. So we're looking at all these 3 numbers, and we're going to find the middle of that, and that is Q1. Likewise, look at everything above the median, and that is Q3. Okay, so if you write our 5-number summary, it is 1 is the min, 2, 3.5, 5, and 6. Again, we could draw our box and whisker plot. Let me switch colors here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's draw this longer. Oops. 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So again, our dots at the min and max at 1 and at 6. Dots at 2, 3.5, and 5. Draw lines. And there's our box and whisker plot. Okay, and then lastly, let's find our middle number here. What's the middle of 1 and 3? Well, we add them up, divide by 2. 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So that is our median. To find Q1, we look at everything below that. What's the middle of 1 and 1? It's 1. What's the middle of 3 and 4? We know that's 3.5, but if you didn't, you would do 3 plus 4, which is 7, divided by 2 is 3.5. So our 5-number summary is 1, 1, 2, 3.5, and 4 is the max. All right, so in this case, our minimum is the same as Q1, and that's just fine. Again, I'll label these. So here's min. This is Q1, Q2 our median, Q3, and our max. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so mins, we're going to do dots. And then where we have Q1, Q2, and Q3. So in this case, there's not going to be a whisker on this end. There's just going to be one whisker. All right, you have to be able to read box plots, so you should be able to read the 5-number summary. So I'm going to say our min looks at like about 30. All right. Q1, what does that look like? I don't know, maybe about a little over 50, I would say. What did I guess before? I'm going to go ahead and say like 53. Q3, which is our Q2, which is our median, right here. I would guess like 76, or estimate to 76. Q3, I would estimate around 102, and our max looks like 125. All right, so you have to be able to read a box plot and know what each of those lines or dots stand for. All right, let's talk about what this means in context. So remember, if you have this box plot right here, it's split into 4 parts. So I'm going to just redraw that down here. So let's say this is just a general box and whiskers plot. And what it means is that, half of our data is below this line and half is above. 1/4 of our data are in each of these. So keep that in mind when we answer the following questions. Let's say there's 20 students in the class. I just picked that number. It was easy. How many scores would you expect to find above the median? All right, well, here's the median. Above the median, that's half the data. What's half of 20? 10 students you would expect to see above the median. How about below the first quartile? All right, so if we split this up evenly, let's just do that. What is 20 divided by 4? Because we have 20 students and there's 4 quarters. So 20 divided by 4 is 5. There's like 5 in each of these sections. So how many are below the first quartile? Here's the first quartile, Q1. There'd be about 5 students below the first quartile. How about between the switch colors, the first and third quartile? So here's the first quartile, here's the third quartile. Look, there's 10 students here. And how about above the third quartile? So again, here's the third quartile. How many are above that? There's 5 students above that. So just when you're talking in terms of box plots, there's the same amount in each quartile. So we're able to divide the 20 by 4 and see there's 5 in each of those. All right, there's some practice for you to try, and we'll go over questions in